Hey, if you remember a while back, we did Gary Lowe's Cosmic Cloud, which is a heck of a neat project. Well, I've been playing around with the iridescent paints, and I've come up with a different way to apply the paint. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood-turning tools. Made by a woodturner, for woodturners.
Okay, I have a 9-inch wide, 2-inch thick blank of ambrosia maple again. I know, I keep getting in trouble for that. But what I like about ambrosia maple is it's actually cheaper than hard maple. And this time, this is not that pretty, so painting it is not going to be such a great sin as it was before on the Cosmic Cloud. So the first step I want to do is I've got this mounted to my chuck with a worm screw. So there's a hole drilled in the bottom hanging onto the wood. So when it spins, it hangs onto it and you don't have to have anything on it. So we're going to turn this up, and I'm going to just trim the edge up. And I'm not going to trim the whole edge up, because the platter, this is the bottom of it right here. We just want the top edge rounded out, because that's where the edge of the platter will be. The rest of that's going to be turned away. So I'll just start my cut. I'm running my bevel, and I'm going nice and slow, and I have a really sharp tool, and that helps make this cut work because I'm cutting end grain as I go, and that end grain has a tendency to want to tear out. So I'm going to stop this real quick and look at the wood, and oh, that's perfect. It's all the way around and there's no tear out at all. So the next step is I want to start taking away this part of the wood because I'm making an OG shape. So my bowl is platter is going to go up like this. So I want to take out, I can't reach it, but you get what I mean. I want to take out as much wood here as possible before I start making the shape. And to me, it's a real simple process of just chunking the wood out. You don't want to make really large, big, long cuts because you can get into trouble. You'll hang the tool out too far, things go wrong. So I'm just going in about maybe a ½ inch max. Come back, do it again, and keep going like that. You wind up with some really cool shavings off of this. We use them all the time in our chimney as fire starters. And on occasion, they make a nice wig. But anyway, I'm going to keep chunking at this, and once I get it roughed out, we'll start making the OG shape.
Oh no, he broke it!
There's a cool thing you can do with a robust lathe is the Headstock Slides. Now, why am I going to all this trouble? Because I want to turn this end here, and I don't want to have to hang the tool way out here because the bed's in the way. So now the bed's not in the way. Pretty cool, huh? So it just takes one little switch, pull it up just like the lever right here, and you can move the headstock. So we're now to the point that we want to start shaping our OG shape. And let me slip over here real quick. I'm not saying I'm a great OG maker, but you can see that's the OG shape. So it just comes up. It's like a little stretched out S shape that we're going to make. So this is why I chumped away all that wood. So it's easier now to make that shape. So make sure you sharpen your tools and you're ready to get a good clean cut when you do this. And I want my tool rest just a little bit below center so I can make these cuts. There we go. And we'll make sure nothing's going to hit. Turn it on. There we go. And so my foot's going to start probably about right here. So this is where I'm just going to start bringing off, getting rid of some of the wood. So I'm curving as I'm making the wide part of the S. I'm taking a little too much wood, so I'm going to back off and take this cut out a little bit and get rid of some of that. Because you can always pick up a cut later on. So now the S now starts to swing out this way. And so this isn't perfect right now, but if you look along right here, you can see I'm starting to get this little dip here, a curve out here, and then I just want to swish it back right there. So I'm going to work on this a little bit longer, and we'll get that OG shape nice and cleaned up. Now, with the OG shape there, we're working with some really, really hard wood. I mean, this ambrosia maple is like a rock. So if you have any little marks in there that you want to get rid of, and actually this looks doggone good, I want to do a pull cut. So we're going to turn this on. I'm going to take this tool, and instead of cutting like this, I'm going to tilt it up, and we're going to cut with this edge right here. And so I'm just going to come up here and just take little fine shavings of wood off. You can refine your edge and your shape very easily this way. But what it does is it also leaves a very nice smooth surface. So when you start sanding, you don't have to worry about any sanding marks that you're going to knock out, because again, this is a bowl blank, so there's going to be ingrain in here, and it's going to make life difficult. So anyway, I want to mount this to the lathe again so I can hold it, right? So I've got to do a tenon on this end, or recess. So we're going to expand our jaws into this hole. So I'm going to go about 1/4 of an inch deep, just like I'm cutting a bowl. Just knock it out like so. And I want to leave, that's a nice little rim. I can leave about that. It's like 3/8 of an inch. That'll give me enough strength when I expand the jaws, I don't crack the wood. So we're going to come in here, and now I've got that cut going. We're just going to come in, and I want it to go down and in a little bit, so this is going to be a little dipped in. That way the jaws are going to be sitting on a flat surface out to the side, and this is not going to interfere with the jaws at all. Now to make the dovetail, I'm going to take this and put it somewhere. And we're going to get out our skew. So with our skew, we have to raise this up to where I'm on center. And we're going to take this as a dovetail angle. This is built into a tool. So we'll come in here and start doing it slowly, push it in like this. And now we're making the recess that the dovetail jaws are going to go into. So as long as you make sure that that is flat right there and this is going in, you have your tenon shape. So I'm just going to clean this up a little bit more. I'm going to sand it off camera so I don't bore you, and then we're going to turn it around and work on the other side. Okay, I better unlock that and make it turn a little easier. We've got the blank mounted now with the jaws expanding into that recess that we made. So I just want to take as little wood off as possible. I want this to be perfectly flat. Well, how do you do that? It's kind of tough. I'm going to take a scraper, but when you go with the scraper, you have to use your tool rest as your guide. Well, if your tool rest isn't perfectly lined up, it's not going to be perfectly straight across. So one thing I did when I designed my large Lucky 13 ruler, I based it off of wood collapse. You know you have too much wood when you have avalanches in the background. But anyway, Robust makes a hardened steel rod tool rest. I designed this gap for other purposes, but also designed it with the length to where it fits perfectly on there. So it goes right on that rod. Well, the reason I did that is because of this. You can see I have a gap all the way across, right? Well, if I just move my tool rest around until, and then lock it here a little bit, I got to turn it a little bit like that. There we go. So it's now nice and loose, right? So I come up here, I push this until it's flat. This is also in line with that. Now I have my tool rest perfectly positioned in front of this piece of wood, because this is a flat piece of wood. I just need to clean it up. So now I've got my spacing done exactly the way I want it. So we're going to turn this on, and I've got my slightly curved, slightly radius scraper with a negative rake on there, and that makes this work really beautifully in this situation. It's not going to be grabby at all. And we'll just go in here and remove a little bit of wood. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you do this, you have a lot of feet per second out here going. You can see how quickly it moves shaving. As you get in here, it's less feet or fewer feet per second. So you have to slow down your slide to make sure that you cover all the wood, or you'll wind up with those funny little scratch marks and you're going to skip spots. And you notice I rotated the tool slightly just to get a little sharper edge, because again, this is very hard wood. So let's stop that and see how we're doing. But once I get this flat, then we're going to be ready to paint it, sand it, and then paint it. Okay, now we're ready to paint, and I've got Valspar Project Perfect Paint and Primer Gloss. This is working for me, along with the Josana paint. Some people asked on the last video on Cosmic Clouds whether or not the paint was peeling. Hasn't done it to me so far, but I can't really find out what the ingredients are on this stuff, so I don't know if we're talking lacquer or what. I do know that the Josana paints have some acrylic in it. So it's all above my pay grade. If you know what it is, put it in the comment section. That'll help everybody out. But anyway, you want to put on really, really light coats. So I'm just going to go like this, and I'm going to still be able to see some wood when I'm done here. But Gary did this, and he used a heat gun then to speed up the process. Gary also did this on his lathe, which I'm not doing that today. That's a pain in the butt. So anyway, you just need about 3 or 4 good coats on here to where you have solid black. And it actually only took me, last night I was making up a blank to prepare for this. It only took me about 20 minutes to get it to where I wanted it. So, to save you that process, we already have one made, so we're going to go back to the lathe now. Now we got our black beauty on here, and I want to dish out and make that cove in the blank. In the platter, whatever it is now. I'm not going to put the edges on it like I did on the Cosmic Cloud because this is smaller, and I think it would take away from the design if I had black edging on it. So we're just going to start pushing our way in just like we would on a bowl and hollow it a little bit at a time. Our main goal is we just want to get rid of that hole in the middle that the worm screw was in. So if I can make it like this would be great. It's going to be a steep little recess here. Keep knocking wood out. Getting there. See how far we are. Getting closer and closer. Now life would have been easier if I had slid the headstock back so I didn't have my arm out like this, but that's okay. Come in here like so. We're almost there. Dang, I drilled that extra deep this time. I hope we don't wind up with a funnel. There we go. One more cut, we should be there. Now, to smooth this inside out, to smooth the inside of this out, I'm going to raise the tool rest just a bit and grab, oh there it is, my big radius scraper. And we're just going to come here and clean it up, and then we'll sand it. But this radius scraper will also give me a clean delineation between the black paint and the white of the wood here. Now, as opposed to the other Cosmic Cloud we did, in the beginning we put a clear gloss finish on the black to begin with. We're not going to do that this time. We're going to do that last. Okay, I'm mixing up my Josana iridescent paints now, and that's about the consistency I want, and I'll show you over here. I've kind of got my war machine laid out here. I want to make sure that I keep all my colors correct because you can't tell what color they all are because they all look white. But I am using airbrush medium by Golden to dilute the paste. And you want a nice runny, you can get real runny if you want. It makes it less noticeable, so you can do really thin layers. That's what's getting me really excited about this process, because Gary Lowe got me thinking about different ways of applying this paint. And right here, Jason Tunnel gave me this. Look at this. I was at a show in Texas. This is what he made. Isn't that just cool as all get out? He used a frisket and peeled it off. I mean, it was really neat. A unusual shape too. Looks like it makes a really good hat. It almost fits my head. But the whole idea on this is I just love the experimentation, the different things you can do. So I didn't want to use an airbrush, right? You know, I'm not an airbrush guy, and even if it is just blowing air, it didn't seem like I was doing much of anything important. So what I thought was, let's use some other expensive applicator, foam brushes. So I just was taking a little bit of a foam brush, a little paint on a foam brush. Let me set this down as I cross myself. And then I just started doing this. Now, like I said, I'm not an artist, so I always felt a little intimidated working with paints. I'm going to take a little bit off. There's too much there. So you just brush this out, and you try to make a swoosh feel, right? And so all of a sudden now you got this really cool looking blue. So I'll put the paintbrush back on top of that tin of paint. We'll grab another one, and I didn't use gold before, and I think the gold is incredible looking. Because watch what that looks like. Watch what that looks like. Yeah, that's right. That's good grammar. Okay, so I'm just swishing, right? And it looks like I'm an artist, and I aren't. So I'm just barely overlapping them, but you can blend them into each other now without getting that big white thing we were worried about before. So as I come up to this edge here, I'm just going across the edge. Nothing bad seems to be happening, so I'm not going in. If you do go back inside there, that's why I didn't put a finish on this yet. I can go back and put it on the lathe and sand it if it gets bad. Okay, that's starting to look like Donald Trump's hair, but we'll move on. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be a beautiful color. This is going to be cool. This is turquoise, I think. Oh, no. Yeah, it is. No, it's green iridescent. That's why I have all of the things next to each other. So let's just keep doing a swoosh like this and blend that in a little bit. So, I mean, this is cool. What I actually am setting this on, by the way, is a little turntable thingy that helps me spin stuff when I need to, when I'm painting or putting a finish on something. But, oh, that blue kind of went in there. It made another color now. So this has actually helped me make new colors as I blend them. This is doggone cool. I like that. So let's keep moving. We're going to go to, I think this is red iridescent. So red's going to be cool. So we can come in here. I don't know. I'm still not an artist, but we'll do something like that. That look good? There we go. Here's some sirens in the background. Don't know if they're coming for me or not. So just make it nice and swooshy. Keep going. You still want to thin it out because you can see if you leave it a little thick, it becomes kind of opaque. So the thinner you go, the better. Now, if you use a matte finish, you also might be able to get a different look to this too, because I used a matte finish on the piece I showed you earlier. Let's see if I can get Brian red here. But I'm really, like I said, really excited about this because I want to see what you guys are going to be doing out there when you start thinking of stuff to do with your paints. And the Josana colors, I will put a link in the descriptor for you so you can find them. Also, I'll do that for the airbrush medium. And let's see here what we got here. Woo! Oh, that's turquoise. Isn't that cool? Wow. Now, I'm probably putting a bunch of colors together that a lot of artists are going, oh, but I'll throw up. But hey, you know what? One thing I would like to do is I think next time I will probably paint the edge on this black. That would give me a neat little standoff piece. Let's see, well, I got one more color left. Might as well just go ahead and blow it all up. We got some purple now. Oh, that is so cool. Just flip it out there, try to come in this way. If I brush towards the hole, I don't get any on the inside there. If I come back this way, I'll probably get some in there, so I gotta be careful about that. And this, again, is not probably the best piece of art on earth, but you get the idea now. And I want to see what you guys will turn out because I think this is so cool. And a lot of thanks to Gary Lowe for getting me started on this and giving me permission to use his technique because I never would have gotten into coloring wood like this ever before. This is so cool. So there you go. Isn't that neat? So that is our new take on an iridescent platter. So until the next time, keep turning, keep painting.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood turning tools. Made by a woodturner for woodturners.